Tone policing is about women or let's minorities who would get emotional while trying to tell their stories, and people would say, in England, when debate would happen, it's supposed to be stoic. You're not supposed to show emotion, and there's nothing wrong. That's what tone policing is. Like, don't tell someone who's had a horribly abusive, tragic experience not to cry or be upset about it while they're communicating their lived experience to you. And I've seen, all the time, creators on the right. Oopsie. Sorry, I just dropped my water bottle. All the time creators on the right, but I've seen a couple male creators on the left use tone policing the wrong way and say that they should be able to like berate women. And if you don't allow white males or males in general, no, it wasn't always white males. I think we know another one who was doing that all the time. I would say, don't tone police me while you're verbally abusing women. I'm sorry. I just laugh because I'm like, no matter what you do, like in this world, men are going to twist and gaslight women into thinking somehow they're doing something wrong, and it's fascinating to watch. And I think she was an Oxford professor. One of the most brilliant clips I've ever seen in TikTok. She was the one that really knocked it into my head that like, if you are an intelligent woman, you stop allowing debate. Things aren't up for debate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that is the perpetual idea of white men, that eugenics, right? Whether or not black people should be socially engineered out of existence, that's a debate that is happening philosophically. And when you allow people to believe that that's even a debate that should happen, whether people have a right to exist, like, you are doing a disservice to women and other minority groups around the world, right? And that's why, sorry, I could go on and on and on about this, but like, oopsies. Wait, did I skip? Hold on, hold on 1 second. Did I skip around? Oh yeah, I skipped up. I was like, no. Oh yeah, we're on that. What was it? I know which one oh yeah, here we go. Jenna Lisa Jones. I was like, I know we were not at the very end. Okay. This is a good one.
Together, we can finally make a change. And that is thanks to the people like these two congressmen and their teams who actually care about the victims. If you are a member of Congress and you are listening to all of us speak here today, please really listen to us. Please vote for this bill to be passed. Please recognize how important it is for transparency relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, this does not matter. This is not about sides. You are an American, and you are a person who has chosen to serve in an elected position to stand up for those you represent who cannot always stand up for themselves. We are those people. We are the Americans that you promised to protect. And we need your help. Please, President Trump, pass this bill and help us. Make us feel like our voices are finally being heard. Thank you.
Oh, and this is, moment of silence. Virginia Dufresne is no longer with us, right? And if, by all accounts, man, when you have suffered so much trauma, just the fact these people are still alive to tell their stories, because as someone that's started being essayed as a child and it continued for a long time, like, it's just as easy not be here. Like, I just don't want to like be in pain when I unalive, but if I could just flip a switch and just discontinue myself, probably would have done that a long time ago. So like, I just, for like the torture it is every day in these people's minds while they're being shamed, while they're being called liars, while they're being gaslit by a person who's been found liable of SA and credibly accused of rape over and over and over, who's a known pathological liar, stealing from all of us. Like, can you imagine dealing with that immense pressure, being constantly harassed? So, Virginia Giuffre is no longer with us. She's asked for her memoir to be published in the event of her untimely demise. And her brother, whose name is Sky Roberts, spoke today in her place.
This is not a political issue. This is not about left or right. This is about humanity. This is about doing what's right. And this is about ensuring that the future we leave behind isn't one where the powerful can hide behind their wealth, their influence, and their money to evade justice. Our plea to you, whether you're a dad, a mom, a brother, or a sister, look your young ones.
You see how he knows he has to do it? And they don't know why. But do you understand? Like, I guarantee none of these people have read the Harvard studies I just talked to you about, that the only way to appeal to insecure, spineless white males is to be like, imagine it's your sister, imagine it's your daughter, imagine it's your mother. But we're all instinctively doing it because that's an indictment of white males in this country. We know you don't care, or males in general. We know you don't care. And so that's like, you should be personally offended unless you're not. I just want to say there's some good men in this country who are highly evolved and are working on deconstructing. That's not who I'm talking to. But the fact that person after person has to plead with men in this country, and you can't just say any woman who's been assaulted is disgusting. You have to say, hey, I know you don't care about the vast majority of women, but imagine it's your sister, imagine it's your daughter. Is just, I mean, that is an indictment. Period. That's an indictment on how little people care about women. The fact you literally have to sit there and beg someone, hey, I know you don't care about 99% of women in this country, but imagine it's someone you're related to.
In the face, look them in the eye, and tell them you didn't stand against the very people who raped, molested, and preyed upon children and young women. Tell them you were willing to negotiate a deal. Money should never be what makes something right or wrong. If you vote no, your stance will be clear. You will be choosing to stand on the side of the rich and powerful, allowing money to buy your way out of the consequence. But here's my one ask. Look these survivors in the eye and tell them why. Then look the people of the United States in the eye and tell them why. And then, when you're alone, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why. This is not a political issue.
Oh, we know why. Deep insecurity. Like, that's the patriarchy, right? You're damaged at an early age, and men are just looking around saying, someone hurt me. No one cares about my pain. And instead of being like, I'm going to hurt the person that hurt me, I'm going to punch back up. Men are such cowards. They're like, let me look for a helpless creature to victimize that's going to make me feel better about myself down there. Definitely could never punch up or laterally because I'm a giant coward. Looking for a helpless creature to victimize to make me feel better about myself. And then once that creature is screaming in pain, I'm going to ignore it loudly. I mean, that's what it is. You guys are cowards. When someone hurts me, I'm not like, hey, I'm too much of a coward to hurt that person back because they're scary and they might do something mean to me. I'm like, oh, this person's never gonna forget. Like, you guys literally, instead of hurting the people that damaged you originally, you're like, I need a helpless victim. Let me find a woman that can't fight back. And then once she tries to say that I hurt her, I'm going to discredit her at every turn. And let's not stop there. Let's discredit all women. That's the agreement of the patriarchy. We all keep punching down on women. We just need to discredit women as a group. We'll say they're all SLUTs and they wanted it. Like that. I mean, it's don't be proud you're part of the patriarchy. You're just in a giant pool of insecure, small d cowards who, instead of being like, man, someone from up above just punched down on me and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to punch up. Like, I'm going to get bigger and stronger and smarter, and I'm going to figure out how to make that stop. You're like, nope, let me find a helpless woman to punch down on, helpless woman to punch down on. That's what you guys are doing. You guys are cowards, period. Unless you're just disgusted by this and you're like, hey, I've changed my mind today. You guys are just continuing to be a giant group of cowards. Oh, Haley Robson was amazing today. Absolutely amazing. This is her. Oh, never mind. There we go.
And the government did not protect us. The banks did not protect us. So lift the curtain on these files and be transparent. Every single time a new conspiracy gets circulated in the media, whether he is still alive, what powerful person had him murdered, who was on the Epstein client list, and there are names going around on TikTok and Instagram, we, the survivors, are suffering severely. We take our kids to school and everyone is talking about it. We can't read the news or do anything without hearing crazy stories that are only able to live on because the government continues to hide the evidence and the truth. So people just make up stories. Those stories hurt. They hurt real people who have already been hurt. And we have lost so many Epstein victims to suicide, and maintaining the real truth and secrecy only allows for conspiracy theorists to tell lies that drives up our anxiety and fears and will continue to lead to more pain, more suffering, and honestly, more deaths of innocent victims. It's time you do what is right by us. Unseal all the documents. We are requesting transparency, and I am requesting every congressman and woman that goes against this bill be outed. I want to know. And the government did not protect.
Well, you can know because votes are in the public domain. That's how I know. That's how I know that conservative legislation is racist. That's how I know it is misogynist. That's how I know that statistically conservatives have nothing to do with caring about women and children because votes are public and then we know. Right? I can tell you the legislation introduced by conservatives never benefits women or children. And I love how she said that like she's being blamed. She tries to go in public and she's being looked at. Yeah, exactly. She's describing like the scarlet letter treatment. She is a victim of SA. But it's her fault. She wanted it. She was wearing the wrong clothes. Oh, but they paid her for the massage, right? She was just trying to make money. Can you imagine? This is a child who was trafficked and abused and still to this day is treated like trash, which I think is the general treatment of women in this country. Oh my gosh, Lisa Phillips. Here's another amazing speaker telling her story. I've never heard Lisa Phillips speak before today. Amazing.
A platform supporting survivors. I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford Modeling Agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
And hopefully released to the rest of us so we can hold all these creepos accountable, starting with Les Wexner. Sorry, don't ever buy shit from Victoria's Secret again. Like, truly, this guy is a creep. But, I mean, and I just want to say this, because I'm sorry, I didn't see the comment or who wrote it. Someone said, like, hey, she was a kid, but then she helped recruit other kids. Yeah, that's the nature of S trafficking, right? Like, but again, you're still blaming victims. But I just want to say this, and this is just my feeling, right? Like, about this is just my experience. I do think there's a moment, right, in all of this, which again, I'm trying to be careful with what I say because I don't know. We're talking about, there's only one person or peoples, right? Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein. Just understand, Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't some victim who was turned S trafficker, right? This is a person who comes from exorbitant wealth. That's why I tried to tell everyone, you need to watch the documentaries about Ghislaine Maxwell specifically and understand the filthy wealth she comes from and who her father was. Her dad was a creep. And then, but again, just understand, hurt people, right? Like, I'm still fighting off every day, seeking out somebody that's like either my mother, right? I have 2 dating patterns, and that's why I had to stop dating 5 years ago, because they're either I'm looking for a malignant narcissist or I'm looking for my father, which is not good either, right? Like, maybe he has effective empathy, but he's been through such extreme trauma that he's not moving through the world in a healthy way. And I've always been looking for those 2 types of people, I think. But the problem is, Ghislaine Maxwell had every opportunity, was well educated, had every outlet, and was like, nope, I'd like to go around and find 13-year-old poor kids, and I would like to deliver them to a monster, a billionaire monster, to be victimized. That was the road she took. And there is always in the path of victim of trafficking or victim of S abuse, and where you turn to be also a predator. And that can be out of survival, right? Like, I always talk about how, as a mandated reporter, as a teacher, I knew, like, because I knew this happened to I'm not talking about my teaching career, I'm talking about my cousins, right? Like, if essays happening inside a family, what's better? Do you put them in foster care where they are, like, I mean, statistically, I'm almost assured to be SA'd, and then they no longer have their familial relations for support around that? And you just put them in a strange environment where they're SA'd, and not just SA'd, but in foster care is where the S trafficking happens, right? And where you don't have other family support to sort of protect you. So the way to stop yourself, like, imagine the stress of, I'm being victimized over and over and over with no hope. And then one day someone comes to me and says, hey, you've done such a good job being horrifically abused that you get a promotion. You tell me the psychology of how to get out of that. And I've never personally been in it in that way, but I'm telling you, that's a very hard thing to overcome. You're trapped in this situation where you are on the bottom of the totem pole and someone says, hey, you want to move up one rung and maybe your life will be a little less shitty, but now you've got to go find people to be underneath you in the, like, pyramid scam of SA hell. Yeah, none of it is right. There are no good options. But that's why, understand, imagine a billionaire giving 13-year-olds $50 for this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how desperate these kids were for anything. And what is the answer to that problem? I don't know. But I do think if we were talking about adults and S trafficking and like, hey, I didn't want to do it anymore and I got an option to start recruiting. Yeah, like if we're talking about adults, yeah, it's not okay. Like, like I think I would choose death personally because I know what it feels like to be SA'd. So I think I would just choose death. But again, I think it's an impossible situation. And what I want to point out is we have all of this need to look at like, well, she was a victim, but then when she turned 14, she wasn't anymore. Like, are we kidding here? Did you hear that other woman 2 women ago say, I was recruited by a 13-year-old? Like, this guy's like, bring your friends to the nice big mansion and I'll give them some ice cream too. Like, you need to, there are people to be held responsible for this. And it's not the children in this situation, right? Like, it's not. It's just not. And also, well, I could go further into that, but I won't. Like, I just don't think these are children and a billionaire and a woman that came from a billionaire and inherited a lot of money who were like, hey, let's victimize a bunch of little poor girls. And then let's deflect our responsibility back onto them. Oh, this is a good one. Oh my gosh, sorry. I have to go find this clip. I have it though. Give me 1 second because this is an important one. I want to make sure I get these clips where people are actually like holding him accountable for this because they're the most important ones. And I feel like almost like as the press conference went on, people were like, yeah, this is it. Okay. Wait, let me make sure I pronounce it. Shantae Davies. Yeah, that's who we're about to listen to. Brilliant and brave.
Promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away.
Imagine that reality. You're a 13-year-old kid who they're like, hey, little kid, like, you want to be a model? Come over here. Recruit your other friends to be models. Like, there's no culpability in that. Like, and then you're on a plane to Africa with a former president or Donald Trump. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're just like, hey, of course and Prince Andrew, of course I'm doing what these people say I need to be doing. Like, these are children.
The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role? Why does the government hide this information from the public? This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters. Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability, transparency, and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the future stolen. So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth. We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront. But his promises came with a catch.
I mean, beautifully said. I believe, why do I always mispronounce her name? Sorry, I just want to make sure I say it right. Shantae Davies. Oh yeah, sorry. And I'm outside the present. Let me go back to the presentation really quick. So I'm not pulling up rando stuff, but these survivors are amazing. Like, I just can't. Where am I at? That's Haley Robson. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, and here's Gloria Allred. Remember I said there was that like solidarity with the victims rally going on, and just to be clear, and other people were speaking there who had been victims of Jeffrey Epstein or survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. But Gloria Allred represents a lot of these victims. If you don't know, she's like one of the biggest heavy hitter lawyers in LA. And I just thought she made a very salient point when she was speaking at the Solidarity rally, which is like, where is Alex Acosta? And let's get him under oath and force him to account for all this. Which James Comer originally was like, oh yeah, we're going to subpoena him. I'll believe it when I see it.
The victims and all of us were betrayed when, in Florida, Mr. Acosta made that deal. U.S. Attorney is for the Southern District of Florida. Made that deal that instead of 60 felony counts that could have been filed by the United States Attorney, 2 counts were filed by the state attorney, and Jeffrey Epstein, without having a trial, was able to go to his office every day as part of the sentence and just sleep in the jail at night for 13 months. Is that justice? No. You were betrayed. And then, of course, there was New York. New York, where Jeffrey Epstein was brought in, arrested. I saw him at the last hearing in federal court. And so many victims and so many survivors thought, at last there's justice. But instead of justice, there was a dead body, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, and questions are still being asked. Was it suicide? Was it homicide? The victims and all of us were betrayed.
Thank you. Or, I mean, truly. And again, that was under Donald Trump. Remember, he promised accountability. That's weirdly. Now, you tell me, when Biden was president, did Ghislaine go missing? No, she's still alive somehow. But when we had Jeffrey Epstein and we're going to prosecute him for some weird reason, he no longer is with us when he was in solitary confinement. And I'm saying this factually. We know when they released the footage from his jail cell, there is a minute missing. Factually, it's for some reason been taken out. Like, I wonder why. Like, we're in a nightmare. We're in a confederacy of dunces. True, great Pulitzer Prize winning book if you've never read it. If you read Pulitzer fiction, 10 of 10 recommend A Confederacy of Dunces. And this is encouraging. I've never seen like this many news networks covering a press conference. So I was like wowed today. Like, I was like, thank God, like at least this is getting coverage. See, and that you could see Fox News was covering Polish president on relationship with Trump in the US, where he was, Sally's read A Confederacy of Dunces. Thank you for having read that. What an amazing book, right? Just amazing. I like read through the Pulitzer Prize winning fiction list in my spare time. Love it. And then Fox is covering Trump muttering incoherently. Like, that's what's important. And then they moved to the question and answer period, so here's some of the question I'm just going to read since some people wrote the questions. Trump said that this Epstein issue is a hoax. So can you imagine, whilst this press conference is going on, Trump is supposed to be meeting with the Polish president about, stuff he knows nothing about because he is just a pathological liar. And instead, Trump is calling this a quote unquote, it's Democratic hoax. I don't know why. I mean, I know why MAGA doesn't know the difference between an adjective and a noun, but he said it's a Democrat hoax. So whilst these women are begging and saying, this is not a hoax, this is real, this happened to me, I was a child, please hear me, Trump, instead of hearing them, says, this is a Democrat hoax.
This question would be for the survivors, Mr. Evans. The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the words that he used. Can we get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say that?
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
This question would be for the survivors.
Of course he'll never meet with you guys. It's so strange. Why aren't you guys in the Oval Office right now with Trump while he patiently listens to all your stories? Isn't that strange? Insecure, tiny-brained MAGA man? That Trump isn't hosting the Epstein victims and patiently listening to them tell their stories. Now, what little is left of your brains, why would you think that is when he literally manipulated you all into believing this was something he cared about? Why do you think it would be that he literally is now done a 180, is saying he wants nothing to do with these people and they're all pathological liars? Why would that be? Was he lying then or was he lying now? Do you understand how this works? You got, insecure, spineless MAGA men. You got.
Devastating.
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not. Please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us.
Devastating.
Please humanize us. Begging, please. And remember what I told you about those Harvard studies, right? That like we're not seen as equals or humans, right? If you're not a familial relationship, at Harvard they're showing pictures of women to men they don't know, and the part of their brain that lights up is object, thing. Right? Exactly. And what is a hoax? I do love that's like a crop circle. Like, what is a hoax? What about a hoax is federal investigations. It's the opposite of a hoax, right? Our tax dollars paid for, like, this is the actual opposite of a hoax. That's a good point, Brandon. Thank you for pointing that out. And oh yeah, and this is that same lawyer who was sort of there speaking on behalf of these women. Thank you, Jennifer, for subscribing. Appreciate it so much. Oh, and quickly, I just saw this, Kimber. Thank you for the $2 on Venmo. I love you. I'm so broke right now. Please know I'm always watching and appreciate your content. Kimber, love you. And thank you for always being here. Love the support, and you're amazing. That same lawyer who spoke at the beginning, who's kind of the representative for the victims today, or maybe he's representing all of them. I don't know. But he said this. So like when that question was asked by the media, like he's like, hey, like, it's weird he'd say it's a hoax, because the lawyer's basically about to be like, yeah, it's crazy he's sitting in the White House saying it's a hoax, because I talked to him in 2009. So MAGA, you have to understand, be able to count backwards. That's a lot of backwards counting for you. But in 2009, this lawyer talked to Trump and he said the exact opposite. So isn't it strange now that it's a hoax?
First, and then I'll let them. They're much more important than me, but I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that. He didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up for debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy? The world should know who he is, who protected him, and the other people that are out there to be investigated need to be investigated. First, and then I'll let them. They're much more important.
Amen. Thank you. And it's so, like, all I'm saying is when Trump could build political and social capital, and this is the same thing he did with a lot of other things. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm running on it. And then he always thinks, like, I can just squash it in the end. And this is a runaway train he's not squashing. And he's like, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. Actually, I'm guilty of this. Like, you know what I mean? But this is just, like, all of the promises he made. Oh my gosh. And if we get to it today, I'll show you. God, the poll is on Trump. Remember, like, Trump was basically elected on two things: immigration and the economy. And I remember, like, the numbers in October 2024 when I really, it started, like, I knew, like, oh, we're going to lose the election, was just nobody in this country. And that's just, imagine, there's so many white female voters in this country, and even them contributed to this idea that women can't understand the economy. And today, I can show you this data. It was Harry Enton on CNN, so it's a clip. But yeah, I mean, people hate Trump on the economy, but there was this belief, like, oh yeah, only Trump never came out with a budget. No one understood anything. Now they're furious about tariffs and they hate Trump for what he's done to the economy. But yeah, you guys all believed women's brains don't work, which is idiotic. So how could this all have happened? Oh, this is crazy.
A survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump. Could she please elaborate about that?
Shante.
Get to the microphones.
Get close.
Yeah, I did say that.
Notice the plane flyover to silent, like, and I talked to this. People in the comments were asking me, like, did you talk about the planes flying over? Yes, I think it's deeper than people think. I think, yeah, Trump definitely, these, like, DC is a no-fly zone, is a national security risk to have, planes are never flying over the Capitol. So today, someone ordered random military flyovers of the Capitol to try to drown out the sound from this press conference. So kudos to, and again, I just want you to know that's probably hundreds of thousands of taxpayer money from the, did you hear that plane? That's what I'm talking about. If you just joined the live, that's why I'm addressing it again. I addressed this like an hour ago, and I realized, like, people, depending on what you're doing at work and throughout the day, I should say it again. So I'm saying it again. Like, I always talk about this. I thought the minute I saw, and there are different independent journalists I love who immediately called it out. Trump's having military, like, DC's a no-fly zone. It's under threat of T attacks since 9/11. Planes do not fly over this area. Like, it is, I mean, if they do, people are about to, like, jump in a hole and take cover. And suddenly today, there's, like, random military flyovers when Epstein victims are saying Trump's name. And again, remember, your tax dollars are paying for this entire waste. But just to expound on it, what I was saying earlier, the reason I absolutely 190% believe that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion and my belief that Trump did this, is because what if by one of the things, like I always talk, I've never missed a Trump rally. I've never missed like I watch all Trump pressers. I just stopped forcing them on you guys because I realize it's bad for all of our mental health. But Trump didn't always used to like to be in that dark ballroom where he does interviews and press conferences now. At Mar-a-Lago, he used to like to be outside his front door. But Trump acts like he has prime real estate in Palm Beach. No, Trump lives in the parking lot of the Palm Beach airport. Literally, Trump lives in the parking lot of the Palm Beach airport. So every time he would try to come outside his front door and talk to the press, like literally every 3 minutes, some billionaire's giant jet or like jumbo jet is landing while he's speaking. And I just feel like, yeah, he probably got this idea from firsthand experiences of his dumb press conferences outside his front door at Mar-a-Lago, where every time he would try to say something, some billionaire's jet would be landing, and we just be like, no one can hear you. We don't know what you're saying. And he would get so frustrated. I guarantee you, DC, for, T-ist attack reasons, is a no-fly zone. Like, and these people are flying low and loud. These are military planes. The minute this woman's about to say Trump name, like, I mean, I just find this hilarious that for some reason on this day, like, all of a sudden military planes need to fly low over a press conference of the largest gathering of Epstein victims. Like, and he doesn't even have good ideas. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's drown him out. Like, why not just attack the electrical grid? I mean, you should have told your crazy, like, militia followers to just shut the electrical grid down. Anyways, but yeah, you can hear the planes periodically, but most of these clips don't have it because they would wait and then they would start speaking over to make sure, which is, they would wait for the planes to stop and then say it all over, which I was like, good, because don't let Trump's pettiness, that's our tax dollars though, being wasted. We're paying for fuel for which is super expensive because Trump's like, now no one will hear. Okay, Grandpa, put more makeup on, you weirdo.
Survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump. Could she please elaborate about that?
Shante.
Get to the microphones.
Get close.
Yeah, I did say that. My first trip to the Palm Beach residence, I drove there from the airport with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the two of them. Like, they were very close.
It's very close to Mustache Man. Who did Mustache Man have a framed picture of behind his desk? Who took him on a tour of... Mustache Man didn't invent concentration camps. We did in the U.S. And his bestie, who he kept a framed picture of on his desk, was Henry Ford. And Henry Ford was like, let me show you how we do racism in the Americas. Let me show you how we socially engineer indigenous groups out of existence. Let me take you on a journey. Like, that is, yeah, it was Henry Ford. And what you just heard is Jeffrey Epstein had a framed picture of Donald Trump, just like Mustache Man had a framed picture of Henry Ford. Like, yeah, people who aren't their best friends and complicit in all their crimes don't send birthday cards being like, yeah, we all have a secret surprise between us. The world is full of wonderful secrets. And yeah, I always keep framed pictures of people I have nothing to do with on my desk, and then I always use that as a threat of my ass trafficking victims and being like, oh, he's always watching. Yeah, I mean, oh, Henry Ford is a racist monster. Like, if you don't know that, I would just, yeah. I mean, I never learned any of that till you have to go to university to learn real history of America. But Jesus Christ, Henry Ford's a terrifying, terrifying creep. Oh, and here is, oh, this is Annie Farmer again. Her and her sister Maria Farmer were abused by Jeffrey, and this is like her being asked by the press and then saying like how she felt when they found out that Ghislaine Maxwell's in like a minimum security spa prison now. Say like normally if you had an abuser and you were the victim of S trafficking and they were just letting somebody go to a minimum security prison, like in normal law enforcement, they would call the victims and tell them and say like, hey, we're considering doing this. There's going to be a hearing. You can submit a letter as to why this is crazy. But like, and again, I mean, that would be like for parole or for any issue like freedom or anything of that nature. But then understand that people, whistleblowers or not whistleblowers, just factually people in the Bureau of Prisons, it's been released, which Trump, I think, is calling whistleblowing, but I don't know if it's whistleblowing or just someone stating what happened. What they did with Ghislaine Maxwell, with Todd Blanche meeting with her and then moving her, is completely outside of the bounds of anything anyone in the DOJ or the Bureau of Prisons could do. It had to be done by someone that works for Trump. Like, they're like, we could never do this on our own, nor would we. Like, what? Like, we can't do this. So again, this is Annie Farmer talking, saying like, here's like, how did you feel when you found out Ghislaine Maxwell was going to like a cushy little minimum security place with a tennis court? No offense, guys. Thank you so much. Keep tapping the screen. We're almost to 600K. I appreciate it. If you would like to subscribe, please do. More importantly, this is my Cash App and Venmo. If you would like to support me, I rely on your tips and donations to keep the people's receipts going. Oh, and I just saw this. Sorry, Jennifer. Thank you so much for the $40 on Cash App. Oh my God, and that's so sweet. On behalf of people who want to donate but can't. That is so. Don't make me cry. Yeehaw! Thank you for the hat. Jennifer, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. God, I love this community. But again, this is Annie Farmer talking about her reaction. No one called her. Normally they'd be like, hey, like, you're a victim of ass trafficking and we're moving like the main perpetrator to a minimum security prison where there's no offenses and she could probably just walk out at any moment. So we should alert you. And obviously she's a woman, so I don't think she's just going to go off them. But like, this is a person with vast resources. She has a lot of money. So yeah, like you would think they would know about it or someone would give them the courtesy of telling them.
We were horrified to learn that she had been transferred to a prison camp. She is someone who was found guilty by a jury of sex trafficking. She not only, we often hear that she procured women for Jeffrey, which I think is a very sort of polite and minimizing term. She also participated in the abuse. She was a major architect of the scheme. And the fact that she's painted herself as a victim, I think is disgusting. And it was horrifying, I think, to us that we were not told about her prison transfer. We found out about it in the news. We were horrified.
Camp? Let me tell you something. When Sheriff Joe, also who was pardoned by Donald Trump, used to run an illegal muck in Arizona, we had a prison camp. It was called Tent City, where people were living in 125-degree temperatures in the desert in literal tents. Where Ghislaine Maxwell is not a camp. I don't know what minimum security. Yeah, Camp Snoopy, like camp. This is where rich New York children, rich New York people's children go to camp in the woods in New York. Maybe that type of camp. Not what I know to be a prison camp. We had one. It was called Tent City, and that's not where Ghislaine Maxwell is, in a place with tennis courts. A camp. No, but I mean, whatever. I love these names. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is it. This is the one I was talking. Prepare. I'm sorry. And I mean, I'm not cheering because it's great, but I mean, I'm so glad that these people are finally like, yeah, like this is how crazy this is.
Anushka DiGiorgio, I testified alongside Annie at the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. I was horrified when I found out not only had Ghislaine Maxwell been transferred to what's called a low security. It's really is like a holiday camp, and then afterwards I got a notification from the Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen, when it had already happened. This woman abused children. I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years.
Wait for that plane to fly over. Wait for that plane to fly over. Now say something worse. I love this. Like, nice try, Trump, you weirdo. You should have been better just to cut the power. Like, what are you doing? It's like, this will get him. Whenever I try to have press conferences, the planes stop me. No, because these people are smart enough to wait till the planes are done flying over and then they speak. You just think you're God and that people can hear you over planes because you're too dumb to understand how microphones work. So that's why no one could hear you. You just wait for the planes to be done and then you speak. Trump just talks while the planes are landing. Like that's, and I'm not kidding. That's how dumb he is. Like I'm going to go find the press conferences I'm talking about. I have them, you know me, I have every outline.
I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell was present for some of my abuse at the hand of Jeffrey Epstein. She was present, she was complicit, she was enabling, and it is appalling and disgusting. And it's one of my worst nightmares that she not only be transferred, but at the possibility that's very much going around that she might be pardoned. This is not okay, guys. This is not okay.
And I just want to add that I think it sends a very dangerous message to our country, to the young people in our country, that someone that we all know is aware of these crimes could be.
Anushka DiGiorgio.
No, I'm not. It's not my story to tell. But many of the people you're hearing speak are in these Epstein documentaries. When they say she was present, these were, look, I can't call them threesomes because one person is a child being raped. But that's what I mean, not just present, like participating. And if you have never watched the Surviving Epstein's or like filthy document, like about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, you need to bear witness to this stuff because like Trump is trying to erase all of this stuff from reality. Ghislaine Maxwell, like that's why I was showing those documentaries that are available about her, where victims are saying like, no, she also SA'd me, groomed me, SA'd, like, just understand that. This is not just, she's like, oh, it happened to me too. Like, no. So this is you. I just don't want anyone to ever see Ghislaine Maxwell as a victim. She was a person who drove around New York City, drove around West Palm Beach, where the poor kids are, because you can't pick up poor kids in Palm Beach, and was like, hey, little pretty girl, get in this limo and I'll make you a model. And then not just did that and delivered little tiny children to Jeffrey Epstein, but then also engaged in the essay. Period. End of story. There are like 6 documentaries you can watch about this if you don't know. Like just try. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for bringing up the yearbooks, T. She got the kids to like go through their yearbooks so she could pick out victims she wanted. Like, if anybody has an ounce of sympathy for Ghislaine Maxwell, like I just don't think you have any idea of who she is or what her role is in this. Like, hey, little kid, let me look through your yearbook and find other 14-year-olds I'd like you to lure here so we can do the same thing we're doing to you to them. Tell me no more. I don't need to hear anymore. Now, the weird thing is MAGA men seem to... Remember I played you several clips of that Newsmax wannabe Tucker Carlson saying she's a victim? Oh, my God. I'm going to find that, actually, while we're listening to this because it's making me sick. And this question is, what is your message to President Trump? Which we'll just say, gross old man who wears makeup and says men shouldn't wear makeup. It's really weird that our president is in terrible drag every day.
So what is your message to President Trump on this?
Listen, I don't want to send a direct message to him. I'm already scared enough. Yeah.
They're terrified. I mean, I just want to point out, I don't think it can be said enough that she's like, yeah, I don't want to say anything because I'm terrified of him. Like, these people live in terror of him. Spineless MAGA man protecting a weird orange man, a senile man in drag. You guys are not men. If you guys were men, you'd be protecting real victims.
So what is your message to President Trump on this?
Listen, I don't want to send a direct message to him. I'm already scared enough. Yeah. Just pass the vote. Listen to us. This is not a hoax. Like, it's not going to go away. And like I said on my speech earlier, we're not going to be silenced anymore. We will be speaking moving forward wherever we need to be. We will be, and we need to pass this.
Go ahead.
So what is your message to President Trump on this?
Just give me 1 second, because I just want to play this clip of Trump, which Trump controls everything that news, you know, like the point of Newsmax is to be Trump's view on the world. That's what they do. And I just want to just be clear that I wasn't joking about these people saying that Ghislaine Maxwell's an innocent victim. She's a disgusting S trafficker. I'm just wanting to be very clear that I was never kidding about that. I found the clip. I knew where it was because it haunts me. Quite literally. How do I make this bigger? This drives me crazy. Here, hold on. Sorry, I'm just going to play it like this. I can't make it bigger.
Reminds me of when President Trump...
Hold on.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell didn't have a friend in the world. He could have easily gotten away with saying, you know, what the media wanted to hear. But he didn't. And I find that remarkably human, and it's telling, and it signals to me that there's something else going on here and that it's an injustice. It reminds me of when President Trump, among anybody in the country really in public office, he would talk about Ashley Babbitt. Do you remember that? And he gained nothing, really, politically, from talking about that. I mean, he scored points with me and those who know the truth about Ashley Babbitt, but there are a lot of folks, Republicans even, a lot of folks did not want to talk about January 6th. He did. He did. It reminds me of the kind of this, has the same feel. Ghislaine Maxwell, he would talk about, and he did it in a certain way. Now, folks, I know people are horrified when I say there's a possibility that this individual just might be innocent. But think about it. Who's told us about her? The most reviled institutions in America, right? The media and the Biden Justice Department, right? They did the heavy lifting on this stuff.
He groped me. He absolutely.
Sorry, that's just my feed. It's full of... Oh, these are just random women accusing Trump of SA. This was posted an hour ago. Let's just watch it.
He groped me. He absolutely groped me.
Jill Hart?
And
oh, yeah, I know about her.
He just slipped his hand there, touching my private parts.
He turned to me and embraced me and gave me a kiss on the lips. And I remember being shocked, and because I would have just thought to shake somebody's hand, but that was his first response with me.
He continually grab my hand.
It was a real shock when all of a sudden his hands were all over me. But it's when he started putting his hand up my skirt. And that was it. That was it.
The person on my right, who unbeknownst to me at that time was Donald Trump, put their hand up my skirt. He did touch my vagina through my underwear.
As the women walked across the table, Donald Trump would look up under their skirt and,
Okay, but again, this, just know, because it's good to point out, this is how dumb MAGA men are. Like, there are dozens of women that tell the same story. This is the same story in court records that E. Jean Carroll told. And there are dozens of women under threat of lawsuit for defamation have publicly told this story. And let me help you, right? If something's a lie, go after them. Right? Like, I mean, these aren't lies, but you guys approve of it. And prior to that, if you're just joining, I was just reminding everyone through a clip. This isn't part of today's presentations, but I was just showing everyone that Trump had Newsmax saying Ghislaine Maxwell was an innocent angel and victim. And I was just replaying the clips after listening to survivors in today's press conference detail, like, no, she's not even just a trafficker. She was present for all the abuse, like, as in participated in it. So if you can't read court primary source documents, because I've read the ones in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, or the ones that are available, there's not a lot. But yeah, she is not just, it wasn't like she was just the creep in the limo that was like, come here, little 13-year-old, I'll make you a model. She also was present and participating in the actual essay and rape of these women. So, like, for any, if you don't know, then do some research and figure it out. And then my algorithm on X just started playing a list of documented Trump victims, which I talk about that all the time. Like, if you like, it's so ironic to be the MAGA man, like, E. Jean Carroll's lying. Okay, yeah, tell me you don't understand. Do you understand how many people are telling the same story? And let me be clear, it's the same story that Donald Trump unprompted confessed to Billy Bush in the 2016 campaign on a hot mic. He described his modus operandi in detail, unprompted. This is how I essay women. I just go up to them and I grab them by the I mean, that's every single woman describes the same exact type of assault. And that you're like, women are liars who just want money. Trump doesn't give anyone money. Trump doesn't pay people that work for him. Why would anyone think they were going to get money from Donald Trump? Trump won't pay people that actually work for him money.
Listen, listen, I don't want to send a direct message to him. I'm already scared enough. Yeah, just pass the vote. Listen to us. This is not a hoax. Like, it's not going to go away. And like I said on my speech earlier, we're not going to be silenced anymore. We will be speaking moving forward wherever we need to be. We will be, and we need to pass this.
Go ahead.
It's absolutely heartbreaking that this, and by the way, if you remember, she said it when she spoke for 3 minutes originally, like, this is the first time I've ever spoke aloud. I'm an immigrant for Brazil. I've been terrified to speak under a threat of retribution. This is the first time she ever spoke out loud. And you see, she's like, I'm terrified. If you guys knew me, I was hurt. Like, I would never tell on anyone who did anything bad, because I've been raised under that, like, you talk, something bad happens to you. That's the nature of how I was raised too. I know exactly what she's talking about. Like, there's no point in trying to tell your story because something terrible is going to happen to you right after. Oh, This is another one. Thank you for the glasses. Keep tapping the screen. We're almost to 10,000 in gifts. Again, this is my Cash App and Venmo. If you appreciate all my research and the time I spent clipping this, please do tip me and help me keep this, the people's receipts going. Also, subscriptions. We're trying to get to 375 subscriptions. If you would like to subscribe, please do. It is much appreciated. This is Epstein survivor Teresa Helm, which I'd never heard her speak before that I know, and I was like, wow, like very powerful.
I wanted to ask victims what they thought of the interview with Todd Blanche.
Did you answer that?
Forgot to tell you the question. If you can't hear what the reporter's saying, she's like, I'd like to know what the victims thought when they heard that Todd Blanche was going to interview Ghislaine Maxwell and like give her a voice and a platform.
Did you answer that?
Todd Blanche.
Do you want to answer it?
I would.
Teresa will step up.
I would. Teresa J. Helm.
Okay.
Happy to speak on that because what I will say is she got this airtime and platform. Her voice was elevated way before our voices were elevated here today. And that same calm, manipulative voice that she had so polite there that day with Todd Blanche was the same polite, coercive, manipulative voice that I heard as she was grooming me to then send me off to the home of Jeffrey Epstein where he would assault me. So that's what she was doing for hours, speaking with me, building relationship with me, building trust with me, allowing me to believe that I was going to get this job, a dream job that I had been recruited from my college, flown across the country from Los Angeles to New York City to interview, so I thought. So her voice that day was the same voice that sent me off to a monster. So nothing can be believed from what she says because she's been charged with perjury. I myself could sit there and listen, and as I did, I sat there and listened to this woman's voice lie. And there was no pushback from Todd Blanche because does he even have the facts to be able to push back on her? We could sit there and push back. Why didn't we get to attend that? Why weren't we there that day? Or why wasn't even one of us consulted prior to that day in that meeting? And why on earth has she been moved from Florida to her, it basically is prison spa. I mean, you know, let's be real. None of us were consulted. I found out just like everyone here found out. Through the media, through all of you, we found out about Ghislaine's transfer. So I'm very angry to sit there and listen. The feelings that come up listening to this woman's voice is repulsive. Yes, I would say it's triggering. We all work very hard on healing, and it still gets to us after 2 decades. It's a very long answer, but it's repulsive to sit there and listen to her voice in her interview.
I mean, how beautifully said was that? Like this creepy, soft voice. If you hear her speak in the documentaries, I know exactly what she's saying. That's the same voice she used to groom people. Oh, Donald Trump had no part in this. You think? The pathological lying grifter that just did another $5 billion crypto grift has been credibly accused of essaying rape dozens of times, has been found liable of essay unanimously by a jury of his peers, is covering up his relationship and the trafficking of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Shocking. Like, that's what Occam's razor is. Like, the answer is the simplest one. It's not somehow, even though I voted for Donald Trump because he promised me complete transparency with the Epstein files, but now it turns out he's in the Epstein files everywhere and now is denying me transparency. Well, now I guess it's the deep state that's after Donald Trump. And even though he's in drag every day and says men shouldn't wear makeup, like there's got to be some way I can explain that away too. Like, no, Occam's razor. It's the simplest explanation. Donald Trump is a guy in drag who says men shouldn't wear makeup, who's absolutely up to his neck in the Epstein files, and just believe these people. It's the simplest explanation. Like, stop jumping through hoops like idiots, and idiots, I mean insecure, spineless MAGA men who support this BS, who I had to listen to for years say you were going to out all the Democrats who were part of this. I guarantee you there are Democratic